he's not only dodging TV3, he's also dodging you.
Yes, he's dodging me as well. You know,
in the case of Kamal, I can understand.
Okay.
You know,
I can understand what Political Park can do to a good friend like Kamal.
Yo, really? you know when you are in opposition, you run into harbination. It's not really easy.
Oh, is that so? I thought that's where you have to be seen more.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, because then you need to appeal to the people. So.
Well,
all right.
And Kamal is hiding back the opposition.
See, they got dazed after the elections, and ever since they've not recovered.
Okay, I'm grateful, gentlemen. Let's start our conversation. Now, let me take a look at the time this morning. On the infrastructure, we'll do it about 4 issues with the Deputy Education Minister's press conference. So we'll be quick with each of the issues. First of all, let's deal with the infrastructure. On page 16, the story says that government is sourcing for $1.5 billion to address educational infrastructure. We're told that's for the senior high schools. Meanwhile, government has sourced close to $100 million from the Korea Exim Bank to kickstart the construction of school facilities. Deputy Education Minister Yaosei Duchum said this yesterday at a Star Ghana program in partnership with the Daily Graphic, the Ghana Center for Democratic Development and the Civil Society Platform. It was on the theme Unpacking the Double Track System, Implications for Sustainable Financing and Prospects for Educational Quality in Ghana. So that's it. 500 million will be used to construct new facilities to address these challenges. So let's start from here. We'll be very quick so that we can touch on all the other issues that were raised at that particular meeting. Infrastructure. This is the commitment from government.
Well, good morning once again. Good morning to our cherished viewers. Bright, permit me to start with a very sad news here. We are in a state of mourning as a party. We lost the day for yesterday our regional director of communication in the Upper East. Yeah, Randy Agana. May he rest in peace. In fact, was such a hard-working gentleman he was, who has done a lot for the party in terms of the communication and all that. Again, we are mourning our father and eulogizing him as well, J.H. Mensah, a statesman, a stalwart of our great party. This evening, inshallah, is going to be, I think, service, okay, at the Christ the King church. And then also we're going to have the funeral arrangement from tomorrow going on. I would just want to say that the Lord give it and the Lord take it. Well, this morning, what is important to us as a nation, I've always said, is education. I sit here and attempt to speak English language because someone taught me and someone sent me to school to be taught. And in fact, someone dedicated his time or her time for me to get to where I am today. Honorable Aziz says here to do same, because he had the opportunity of being taught as well. It means education can never be put aside. In building our nation, we should always focus in making sure that indeed the future generation are given what we expect, what is expected of us in terms of education given to them and all that. No doubt that when we had our flag bearer in 2008, then the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he came out with a promise and said, look, what is imperative to me, what is important to me, has to do with the education of our future generation in this country. Therefore, should I am given the mandate, I'm going to make sure education will be the key. And I'm going to make sure, indeed, that free SHS will become a policy in this country. From 2008, he's been consistent. Until 2016, when we gave him the mandate. Ghanaians gave him the mandate. True to his words, he's come out to prove that, indeed, that is what he wants to do. The doubting Thomases, like my good brother, Honorable Aziz, and some other people will come out to tell you, no. We don't need it now. We will not need it now. And hold that. It's progressive in the Constitution. 26 good years after we've had this Constitution. They're telling me we should go progressively free. 26 years? I don't know when again. So for me, the commitment the President of the Republic of Ghana has shown to making sure that our future generation are given a leeway, are given a correct footing to stand on and then move up, I think it could not have been more than apt. So clearly, we support it. Now, having implemented it, challenges were envisaged. It's obvious. Why? I remember when he was granting, and when BBC interviewed him some time ago, the element of cost came up as to how much had been put in place to ensure that should he's voted for, he'll be able to push such a massive policy for us. I mean, the answer couldn't come then. He said, look, when the time comes, I'm going to make sure I speak to the Ghanaian people about it and find a way. Now it's not about cost. The first budget came, we saw the Asempa budget, and clearly it captured the cost for free SHS, $400 million Ghana cedis plus. Second budget came over 300 million Ghana cedis plus. Okay, it tells you that the man has answered it practically or pragmatically, and we are there today. Still, little challenges. What are the challenges? Infrastructure, which you wanted to speak to this morning. The Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Izuchum, said it all. The government of the day has put aside or set aside over 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to ensure that infrastructure is provided. Again, governance is a continuity, and I would like to commend the NDC administration under President Rawlings for coming out with the GET Fund. Okay, today we have the GET Fund there. That was a vision, and that was a great one. We also have, if you like, our district assemblies, our Minister of Education, and Directorate of Education to ensure that provision of infrastructure for our educational sector is clear. So I think that if the government of the day is coming out with such an arrangement, we should only welcome it. And again, admonish them again to make sure that we should walk the talk now. Let us ensure that we do not toy with our educational sector at all. When we say we're going to do this, let's do it and make sure we do it. So far, we've shown a level of some commitment. And so far, we've gone far with what we have said we're going to do, and we are still on it and doing it. The president, I remember when he was in Ashanti region, did say that, look, at a point, we would have to be forced to even make sure that free SHS becomes compulsory. At a point, it has to be compulsory for us to move as a nation. So, yes, unless my brother wants to sit here and tell me that education is not imperative, unless he wants to say that it's not important, unless he wants to say that the policy is not a lofty idea, that the Ghanaian child who is qualified to go to school doesn't deserve to go to school, therefore there should not be interventions to find out in the tentative everyone is in school. We've had the challenges of numbers.
Okay, wrap up.
Wrapping up, we've had challenges of numbers as well as a result of the lack of infrastructure, which the government is earnestly working on to fix. Now the challenges of numbers, what are we doing? That has seen the introduction of a double track.
We'll come to
and
that.
Then we are on it. So clearly,
okay.
I think the government is on course and the government is doing something for us. Let the people who say we could not have been able to do it continue to say we can do it, and we are doing it.
Honorable Aziz, so $1.5 billion to be sourced, 100 million already secured from Korea Exim Bank, $1.5 billion to be borrowed from GET Fund, and these are all to go into infrastructure ahead of to get the double track system back to the normal or single track, if that's how you put it.
Bright, good morning. Good morning to my colleague Kamal, and good morning to our viewers. But you see, Kamal, even before I came in, you were making references to me. You were making your submissions. Go ahead with it. Even before listening to me, you were making references to what you think I would say. Now, as for what the Deputy Education Minister did, Dr. Chum, he's been a very active Deputy Minister. I think he's a champion for the Free Senior High School at the ministry. And sometimes I appreciate his hard work. But trust me, this government has been exposed monumentally for the failure in the educational sector. When you talk about the Free Senior High School, let us all agree and let us be candid to the Ghanaian public that the NDC never opposed free senior high school. We had a different approach to the entire process. Whilst we were advocating for free senior high school for all, at the same time, we thought that we needed to do that gradually. And so we said progressive introduction of free senior high school. And in fact, I will refer you to the 1992 Constitution. It was not for nothing that the framers of the 1992 Constitution used the word progressive, because they anticipated some financial challenges. And so we were looking at the issue from two angles. Deal with the infrastructure challenges and also progressively introduce free senior high school. Because we were in government and we knew the challenges that were facing as a government. They were in opposition and all that they wanted was political power. And so what they did was to lie to the Ghanaian public.
Oh, really?
Today you are being exposed for all the lies that you told us you were in opposition. Coming back to the free senior high school, this was a policy that you promised for all. You and I are aware that today as we speak, second and third years are not enjoying free senior high school. Oh, it is a failure. No, you must be, you see, you must be humble enough to admit some of these things.
Let's not be that cheap.
You see, when you talk about free senior high school for all, for everyone, today you are aware, it's a matter of record, something you cannot deny, that it is only first years who are enjoying the free senior high school. Okay. What we are doing, what you are doing is what we pledge to do, progressive. That you must admit. Even with that, you have seen the challenges, not exposed by the NDC, but the media houses. We have seen the environment. We have seen our students sit on blocks to study. We have seen the challenges in respect of accommodation. You are battling with the free senior high school. Bright. Government in the 2018 budget provided an amount of 1.3 billion Ghana cedis to cater for free senior high school. Just about a month or so ago, I had the privilege of engaging this same Deputy Minister for Education on the floor of Parliament on how much government had spent so far on free senior high school. They had, according to the Deputy Minister when he appeared before Parliament, government had spent about 554 million Ghana cedis on free senior high school. The academic year has ended. At least, government was supposed to spend somewhere around 818 million Ghana cedis. And so if you have spent about 554 million Ghana cedis, there's a deficit of about 300 million Ghana cedis that you haven't been able to provide. That would obviously affect equality. When the Minister for Finance, Mr. Kenuforiata, came to Parliament to present the media review, he indicated that government has spent about 884 million Ghana cedis on free senior high school. That did not even tally with what the Education Minister provided. And so you cannot even trust the figures of government. Go to the 2017 and 2018 budgets. Even the number of students that we have benefiting the free senior high school, you are unable to provide. You keep on giving conflicting figures. And so it tells us that you are either not committed to the program or you don't have the resources to do the programs. Oh, really? And you must be able to admit that. You see, when we're in government, what we did was to deal with the issues of infrastructure. That's why President Mahama had initiated about 123 out of the 200 senior high schools that we had pledged. By the time we left office, 50 of them was completed and commissioned. Each of them absorbs about 1,500 students. As we speak today, your Deputy Minister is saying that 13 of those e-blocks we have completed. That even runs contrary to what the President says, that he can't see the infrastructure of President Mahama. Now your Deputy Minister says that you have completed 13 of the e-blocks that were started by President Mahama and the NDC. You have no record in respect of education. And you must be able to admit it. If you were to compare what you are doing to what we did when we were in power, we would draft you. And you know. In fact, let us go beyond even free senior high school. About 1,700 basic schools that were operating and the trees were eliminated by President Mills, President Mahama. Tell me what efforts you have put in place since you came into power to construct even 1 3-classroom block.
And that's where we have this.
And that's the worry.
$1.5 billion, and that from
right. You see, even
Kamal
didn't even get the story. Kamal says that government has provided 1.5 billion Ghana cedis.
Only $100 million has been secured.
Has been secured from Korean Exim Bank.
Yes.
$100 million has been secured from Korean Exim Bank.
$1.5 billion.
You are only thinking of sourcing a total of 1.5 billion US dollars to fix the challenges of education. You are planning to use 500 million for basic schools, another $500 million for senior high school infrastructure, and another 500 million US dollars for the tertiary education. You see, it is just a dream. For now, it remains a dream. But I'm telling you that under the government of President Mahama, you are aware that we established a university in Sunyani, we established one in Ho, and we have started work towards the one in the eastern region. Over 1,700 schools eliminated under trace. 50 e-blocks commissioned, and the rest were between 70 to 90% completed. This is what we did. That is our achievements. You don't run the education ministry with propaganda. You are being exposed for all the lies that you told whilst you were in opposition. Tell me if you are aware that despite all the taxes that you have taken, despite all the unprecedented borrowing that we have done, if you have been able to deliver a 3-classroom block anywhere in this country. And the answer is a big no. And that you must admit. And so, for us as a party and a caucus, we are committed to free senior high school. It was equally pledged in our manifesto. We had pledged to do the progressive introduction of the free senior high school. And today that's what we are doing, even though we are unable to do it well. The Ghanaian public have seen you, and trust me, even your own MPP supporters are so disappointed in what you are doing. Now you are talking about double tracking. It is nothing but a ship system, something that we abolished some years ago. You are coming to do a ship system that would affect quality. You are now asking teachers to work on weekends. Right. And who would pay them for that?
Right. Okay, we'll go there. But tie that into, a quick one. Tie that into our next conversation.
You see, the man has been ranting for long. Said this, said that. What is important is that just come out and tell Ghanaians that you don't want free SHS and that Ghanaians don't deserve it.
That is the propaganda you want to
I'm saying that go and tell them that we in NDC. Listen to me. Honorable. You see, I was very quiet.
When you want to put words into my mouth,
I was very quiet when you were making your submission. Respectfully,
if you can go on. He just said that the party is committed.
As I was, I'm saying that go ahead. NDC organize a press conference because you have the penchant of organizing press conference.
You are joking with the lives of our school children. You are compromising the future of this country.
Honorable,
you are compromising the future of this country.
Right.
Allow Kamal to go on so that we can. I want us to discuss
this.
He just said
that.
I'm saying that
you must be candid. Don't tell.
I'm saying you should go ahead. I am interpreting what you said in your submission, and I'm saying just go ahead and tell Ghanaians that Ghana is not prepared for free SHS. Ghanaian citizens don't deserve free SHS, and that you want them to pay just like you had what we call the killer policy in place called the cash and carry.
Just go ahead.
I'm now going to it. I'm going to it. Simple. Right. You see, Bright, we have a history in this country. Not too long ago, prior to the coming into government for the first time by the MPP, we had what we call the cash and carry system, which was a killer policy. We had promised when we come, because we have a feeling, and if we share in the plight of the people out there, when we come, we will institute a mechanism that will allow them to access health care. Trust me, when we came, we did it. And in fact, the same people who even walked out of parliament and said, look, Ghanaians don't deserve NHIS. Later on, when they came to even argue that we started with mutual one. Now they have made it universal. No problem. Today again, coming into government, we say free SHS is important. Let's educate our masses, our young ones. Again, they are here. Hey, You are not giving it to all. You are not doing X, Y, Z. What is important and material is that there is a policy in place called the free SHS now. That Ghanaian child who is qualified to go to school is seeing, we are seeing to it that that child will be in school and the future of that person will be guaranteed.
Do you deny the fact that it is not all?
Well, it's not all.
It's not every child in senior school.
When I made my submission, obviously we've never had 100% everyone going to school.
Okay.
When I made but the numbers have reduced. You see, he sat here and was citing inconsistency in numbers and figures. 33, 46, 50 are different figures. He sat here and said 50 of the E-blocks have been completed. There are communicators of NDC who will come and tell you 46 have been completed. Some tell you 33 has been completed. This is the inconsistency we are talking about. He sits here and talk about numbers. 1,700 schools and the trees were abolished. Today, as we said, there are communicators and their stalwarts of NDC who will come and tell you over 3,000 schools and the trees were abolished. Which one? Which one is the truth? So we don't, you see, what matters is that no headmaster has come to say that fees have not been paid. What is meant for government to pay to the schools for this free SHS to sail through has not been done. That no headmaster has come out to say that. Okay. Therefore, the policy is solid and resolute and is working. He makes an argument that Form 2 and Form 3, Form 2 and Form 3,
yes, I'll give it a chance to
he makes an argument
that
Form 2 and Form 3 were not part of it. You see, we told you, look, when you are coming out with a policy, you initiate it from scratch. And we've explained this over and over again. The NDC will not learn, and they will always sit here and continue to champion propaganda. The Ghanaian people who are watching me, you are from a village where I come from too as well. We are all from Miang, you are from Miang, I'm from Nantong. We are not far from each other. We are all from the northern region. And I'm saying that we know the plight of the people there. Okay. Somebody go to sell the goods just because I want my child to go to school. Today, this year, that has been eliminated. It is out. Your constituents they don't have to sell their goods to get their children going to school.
Okay. That is what I'm grateful.
Right. Yes. Right. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. You see,
education, you don't want it.
It is either my friend Kamal here doesn't know the history of this country, or he's failing to learn.
Well,
let me tell you, when you make reference to health insurance, come on, just go and read.
Why?
It's so simple.
Well, you want to tell me something? You parliament something there.
You see, you know it.
That's what you want to tell me.
It means you know it.
You didn't do anything.
You agree or disagree that mutual insurance was available before any time?
Ask him whether they work out of parliament. We are talking about government.
Let's move on.
Okay, quick. You had your 10. You see, health insurance was on pilot even before you came into government.
Did you work at the parliament or not?
We had challenges with the way you were proceeding with it. Today, you and I can see the challenges of the health insurance scheme. But trust me,
did you work
what
at the
we
parliament?
even did under President Kufuor was a mutual insurance scheme, not national. It became national under President Mills. That is a matter of record that you
President Mills who shot
let me tell you, we worked out because of the funding arrangement that you brought. Why? Health insurance, 2.5%.
I want us to do more with education.
2.5 to get fund. You have forgotten that your current president, Nana Akufo-Addo, led a demonstration.
Aziz, you've been exposed.
Against
so
VAN. Is that is funding for get fund and health insurance? Akufo-Addo, he led a demonstration against it. Okay. And people lost their lives. You have forgotten.
Honorable Aziz, just tie that into it. The Conference of Heads of Private Senior High Schools, they are saying that at least 20 of them